Hello, everybody, and welcome to CEA. We are here today with a best of one in week 5. We've got Amazon Purple Caster Minions, and we have Mumps Chumps from Epic Systems. I am Thousand Eyes alongside Brennan today on color. How you doing today, Brennan?
Uh, Pretty okay. It's a little early for me right now. 3 p.m. feels a little rough here on the East Coast, but outside of that, feeling pretty good. Got a very exciting game coming up in front of us today.
Yeah, we do. We have Amazon Purple Caster Minions. Starting with us on the blue side here, Amazon, obviously, a lot of you, I'm sure, know of Amazon. They are playing for Save the Children, and they are a group of two software engineers, a mechanical engineer, and a business development and a data scientist across a lot of different teams on Amazon. They know each other all from college, and they graduated at the same time and did play together while they were in college under the same name. So these guys have a lot of synergy together, but this is their first time playing in CEA. Uh, and then obviously on the other side, we do have Epic Systems with Mumps Chumps. They are playing for Doctors Without Borders, mainly because they are a healthcare company, they have said. And they all kind of work in different areas across Epic. They have only formed a few months ago, specifically because they noticed they didn't have much of a scene going together. So the captain messaged a bunch of people, got them together, and are really excited to just kind of like be together and have an actual scene working at Epic.
Uh, I love that Amazon story of we were a collegiate team. We've been a team
Mhm.
for years now. Like that's awesome to see.
That's
That's
that's kind of terrifying when you're going
Oh, it's
up against your
absolutely terrifying, but it still feels nice
yeah.
to witness that type of stuff. One thing to note as well, I believe this might have been glossed over. The support for Epic Systems was formerly on Team Coast,
Yeah,
uh, which was a former LCS team. That's pretty
that's
big.
a good thing to have on your team, you know. Being a former pro player, you know, is a good thing for your team generally. But on the other side though, Amazon, they are no slouches. Evertan and Camp Laszlo were both challenger season 3 and 4. Evertan still is master. Says that they're not good anymore, but I would disagree generally. The bot lane also was Diamond 1, so we have a lot of very highly ranked players coming into this game, and I'm very, very excited for it personally. We are in the picks and bans here. Just going through, we have the Alistar ban, which is a very, very much favorite for Justin IDN. The Zillion Beak taken away from the mid laner as well. All of these are just pocket pick bans taking away favorite champions for these players.
Yeah. Speaking of pocket pick champions, Paramin. That's 332 games of Jin this season. If this isn't first picked, I'm expecting this 1,000% to be picked up by Mumps Chumps right away. Yeah, the denial. There's no way they
Mm-hmm.
give that over. Next most likely is going to be Vayne, which was banned. Oh yeah, Hecarim, see that as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
the Heck Room is still available, is still fairly strong despite the nerfs on the current patch. This is the patch where Hecarim did get a couple of base damage hits, so he's going to be a little bit less strong if you're going for that straight up tank build, but still is a very, very strong champion nonetheless. The Tristana is going to be the hover right now if that is locked in. That doesn't give a whole lot in terms of what your composition will be. Tristana can be that mid laner, can be your bot laner. I'm sure that if there's anybody who knows how to handle a Jin in the bot lane, it is probably going to be Paraman.
Yeah, I would assume so. Just, you play that much of the champion, you start to pick up on exactly what they do, what their weaknesses are. Um, Looking at some potentially interesting picks coming out, Garbanzo Boy might look into something like the Singed. It's an 11 game sample size, but 91. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'll stop talking. That's Cho'Gath.
Fuck Brennan. One thing I have learned about casting with Brennan is that he's generally wrong.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I have picked up here. Dr. Mundo gonna be the pickup here for crazy Korean kid. Definitely a comfort pick there, trying to make sure that he is on something that is comfortable for him because he's up against a bit
So
of a struggle here.
you say that, but I look at Camp Laszlo's match history, and that is a lot of Mundo jungle as of late. So I do anticipate this being flexed at the very least.
I mean, Vi is already picked up, so I would
Oh my
assume this would be the
gosh.
jungle. Once again, like I said, don't ever listen to Brennan. He's generally wrong. So we are in the second ban phase here. Rel is taken. Galio, Ari, all of that off the board here. I like the Rel being taken off because that's a lot of solid engage into this low mobility 80 carry taking away. It also negates the ability to take away those tank stats from that Dr. Mundo as well.
I'm getting flamed. It's fine. Uh, I definitely agree
What
with
did you
this.
expect?
That's valid. Janaben as well. Signals to me that you're looking for more of an engaged support coming out from PCM. Uh, Probably maybe looking at something like Leona could do pretty well, especially with Janna off the table. But we'll have to see if I'm just lying about that too. So
Mhm.
uh, we'll take a look. Nami.
Nami.
All right, I like it. Another disengaged champ seems to do fairly well against that team. We'll try and peel off Mundo pretty well. Uh, and just looking at the comp that Mumps has already drafted thus far, I see Cho'Gath, I see Hecarim, and
Mhm.
Jin's just crying that whole time. Sure, he can do a lot to Trist, he can do a lot to Nami, but with that front line, it's pretty beefy and hard to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely more afraid of that Hecarim though because of the ability to get onto that back line fairly consistently. It is going to be very, very tough for Jin to maneuver in these team fights here. The Nami also great at following up the engage from the Hecarim. Hecarim can jump super deep. Nami can push that wave out and basically be a secondary engage from super far away. So far, Mumps Chumps looking like they've got a lot of solid composition here.
Oh,
The Fizz being locked in here, though, that is going to be a very, very aggressive mid laner here, and that is technically blind picked here.
yeah. Oh man, I saw the Lux and I'm looking at Everton's match history and I'm seeing a lot of like TF, Galio, like not really signaling to me this is a Lux player. And I look over at Alliance, see Lux, I'm like, all right, there's something spicy coming.
Oh no.
Oh,
Days for Finnick not to be here. The day when Anivia reigns supreme. We're gonna get the Anivia versus the Fizz here. And this is one that I look at and I am scared for Soul Rush because it is not going to be
oh,
easy for Soul Rush to actually be able to stay alive in this early game. Fizz can
oh,
punish. Oh, that
it's
is
Rumble.
not Anivia, that is Rumble. Okay.
All
So
right,
we should just get through this pick ban phase real quick and easy. That will be a Rumble mid into the Fizz, which is a
much
much better
better.
match.
I was gonna say, and at the end of Fizz, I feel like that's you're counterpicking yourself a bit there, but with Rumble, it makes a little more sense. It helps with their team fight pretty significantly, I'll say as well. So we'll have to see how well it does. We will be going through the pick ban again,
Hmm.
just real quick. Probably just everyone picking their own champs, but we will see. Yeah, okay. It is moving to the top. It's not like Vice support or something weird. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and you're looking now at a top lane that is just, two beefy boys just duking it out, smacking each other a bunch. I will say Cho'Gath is fairly scary actually in lane. I think not a lot of people give full tank Cho'Gath enough credit and the amount of damage that it can do. So that is something to keep an eye on. Once that level 6 comes, if Mundo pops ult at the wrong time, it's going to put him under the health threshold for the feast and can really cost you in terms of a one-on-one fight.
with that said, though, Cho'Gath does have to be able to respond to that in a reasonable amount of time. If Crazy Korean Kid pops the R and Cho'Gath's not ready to use that feast right away, it could be pretty detrimental for Cho'Gath in that 1v1. So really does come down to just the skill matchup, seeing who's going to be taking or like utilizing their champion a little bit better, outplaying the mind games of it, right? Um,
Absolutely.
huh. I, you know, as someone who plays like a ton of Vi, I actually haven't seen Hecarim Vi as a matchup too frequently, so I'm trying to like think. It's hard for me right now, you know, early morning.
Mhm. Yeah. Obviously, a bit of a struggle for Brennan. But yeah, we are going to get into the spectator delay here. We have, I kind of want to just run down these lanes, see like kind of like what we're looking at here. I want to start actually with this bottom lane because I think it is the most intriguing lane. You've got the Jin and the Lux who've got all that poke and all that long range versus the Tristana and Nami who can survive that a bit but have the engage potential.
Yeah, so just looking at bot lane specifically, Lux support has a handful of different builds we've seen come through, especially even over the last few patches, where some people are still opting into that more supportive, like Moonstaff kind of build, you know, Moonstone Renewer, Staff of Flowing Water. Um, some people are still going full AP and going like Ludens and Horizon Focus and just trying to one shot someone, which is also perfectly valid for a build. So we'll have to see what Harmer looks to pick up in this game. It, paired with something like Jin, if a root ever lands, that is a lot of damage coming through on whoever it hits. So Nami could very well get tagged up and shut down pretty hard. I don't see Trist getting shut down too hard early outside of maybe a misplayed rocket jump, but this definitely could be a lane where Jin just snowballs off of Nami on repeat. I think if that's where the 2v2 wants to put their focus, or if this is where the team wants to put their focus, Nami is definitely the target to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Now moving up to that mid lane, we got the Fizz versus the Rumble here. I do not have a good knowledge of Rumble mid lane matchups here, but this looks to me like something Rumble should be able to handle, at least in the early game.
Yeah, so Rumble generally does better against things that are control mages that try to scale into the game because he has a lot of early bully potential, a lot of good early damage. Fizz can kind of match it at around the level 4, level 5 point, so we'll have to see how that plays out. I think if that Chum the Waters ever lands, it can be devastating for Rumble to get through if he doesn't get an early Hourglass or something of the sort. Maybe even in early Banshees for some extra MR, extra survivability, as opposed to just the stasis. Not entirely sure either, though, because Fizz is not a mid laner that I see too frequently anymore, and let alone Rumble. So this is going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
Absolutely there. And we already did talk a little bit about that juggle at top lane, so we will hold off on that because we are about to load into the game, guys. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Amazon Purple Caster Minions versus Epic Systems Mumps Chumps. Welcome back, everybody. We are on the Rift now with Purple Caster Minions on the blue side. And on that team, we have Crazy Korean Kid in the top lane, Camp Laszlo on jungle, Evertan in the mid lane, Alliance on AD carry, and Haramer on support.
And red side today, we've got Mumps Chumps from Epic Systems, Garbanzo Boy in the top lane. It's nobody. Trying to make sure he's not a nobody this game in the jungle. Soul Rush in the mid lane, Paraman, and Justin IDN in the bot side.
Yeah, teams just spreading out a little bit here. Early ward coming through on Camp Laszlo in that top side river. So we'll have a little bit more information and we'll have the early sweeper.
Yeah, that word is hit or miss if it really does a ton. It will time out before the crab spawn, so generally you're not going to see the Hecarim run in for that. But we'll see. It might actually end up giving some decent vision. Normally, I don't see it doing too much, but there's always the chance. I think we were talking a little bit in the pregame as well during the load screen. Some choices that we weren't anticipating necessarily, or that we haven't seen a ton of. So Tristana, normally known for Hail of Blades at the moment, did opt into the PTA, which makes the trades a little more extended in the early game, but definitely helps against the front line of Mundo Vi as the game gets later. And I think we didn't touch upon it, I don't believe, but Dark Harvest Jhin I don't think I've seen in a hot minute.
I think that's been more of the norm lately, but it has definitely not been super normal here. Flash is coming through, going for the flash bind there with the level 2, and now that will be the re-engage here from Paraman, jumping forward with the bomb. Explosive charge gonna pop. Lots of damage going on to Alliance now, which will give the early lane pressure over to Paraman.
Yeah, so this is the strength of PTA Trist. If you're not able to get punished, that bomb does a ton of damage on the return trade with the 3 autos. So definitely making the most of that rune choice, and both sums burned out of the bot lane in the 2v2. That's going to be rough to deal with against a Hecarim.
Yeah, burning those flashes can cost you if you're not careful there. Good bind here. There'll be a lot of damage, but just an IDN able to heal that up. That is the power of this Nami here in these poke lanes.
Yeah, heal supports tend to be very frustrating for poke lanes to deal with, so this does make sense. We do see Harmer making some decent positioning, or having some decent positioning to try and zone Trist off the wave. Unfortunately, Vi just wants the crab, so not too much punish going to come of that.
Yeah, both junglers getting crab about the same time, and we are going to see them look around here. It is just going to be the farm pickup here for Vi, getting the full clear. A little bit of early vision in the jungle there from It's Nobody. Gonna get down and see if that top side gets cleared again.
Yeah, I do really like a lot of this early vision. Harmer looking for a bind. Doesn't quite see the angle, unfortunately, but yeah, the vision line there is really solid. It will help scout out when Vi is going to be back in that top side, because we do anticipate her showing up there momentarily after the mirror jungle start, so makes sense. And yeah, Rumble mid is very fun to play against.
So once again, this is a time where Brennan is wrong. Rumble mid is not actually very fun to play against. Do not be misconstrued. The Fizz is having a time of it trying to just survive in this lane. And yeah, the first backs from the junglers here, looking at a long sword for Vi here. Garbanzo Boy up in this top lane, doing fairly well into the Mundo. We'll see how that goes once the level 6 comes. But speaking of engagements, we've got Haramer taking a lot of damage. Paraman dodging out of the root from the Jhin, but does take a bunch of damage from this Lux.
Yeah, that looked like it was just going to go strictly in favor of the bot lane of Mumps Chumps, but really good trade coming out from Harmer to kind of negate a lot of what Triss had just accomplished in that 2v2, so really like this. We will still have to see what build we get out of the Lux. I'm assuming with Comet it's going to be more of that AP style we were talking about, but sometimes, you know, Comet can just be built for lane pressure, so you never quite know till it
Oh,
comes out with
hitting
Trist.
here. That is scary. Paraman has to be a little careful, but here comes the ghost on the Hecarim. Haramir is popping that biscuit, trying to stay alive, but I think without the flash, you're still going to go down. And yeah, that will be first blood. It's nobody picking it up with the good early gank. Meanwhile, though, Camp Lazlo's trying to sneak this dragon, and I don't know if gonna get it.
No way.
Early smite comes through. It's nobody picks that up for free. Camp Lazlo now just trying to get away. I believe we'll have to blow the flash. Does have the Q actually to get away, so we'll survive without blowing any summoners, but Camp Lazlo unable to pick up that dragon for his team.
Yeah, that's everything going wrong there for PCM. And
Oh no.
oh, even worse. And now in the top lane.
Yeah, no feast available for the Cho'Gath. Crazy Korean kid should know this here, and that will just be the sadism popped to stay alive. Everything's starting to fall apart a little bit here already for Purple Caster minions.
Yeah, just a lot of the stuff happening bot lane, a little unfortunate. Vi thinking, alright, my bot lane might be dying, but we'll secure the Drake. It'll be not necessarily the best trade, but we'll at least be trading something for it. And instead, Hecarim picks up the kill, picks up the Drake, and now is sitting in a really, really good spot as this game goes past the 7-minute, or up to the 7-minute point right now.
Yeah, and both these junglers looked to get off the ground early, so the fact that not only did Hecarim get that kill, but also took the dragon away, that is a major, major advantage for Mumps Chumps here, and that's going to give them a lot of pressure.
Soul Rush making sure Fizz isn't allowed to reset quite yet. Doing fairly well now, sitting at a 14 CS lead in the mid lane. Hasn't exactly gotten the huge shutdown on Fizz that we were exactly hoping for, but it is still preventing him from being able to farm really effectively. So it's pretty much doing its job, I'll say.
Yeah, and you can see the early pressure already paying dividends here, stealing the blue buff from this Vi. Soul Rush able to get the lane pressure to make it feel like it is an okay move to invade there. And now we're waiting on what the next real big objective is going to be.
Yep. I'm still, like, every few seconds checking this Lux build, and I just realized she only bought boots. So we still don't know which direction it's going in, but root down.
Now, here comes Alliance having to actually jump away here, flashing away from the Tristana. The jump forward from Paraman. Haramir is standing there and auto-attacking, will disconnect from the game and run back to the base. The ultimate from Alliance will keep him alive. And yeah, so that is just gonna be the pause until we can see if we could get Haramir back into the game.
That is really unfortunate, honestly. I think if Lux is able to stay connected there, and it does just result in at least one, maybe two kills, especially with Vi coming through the river at this point, but just unfortunate timing for the disconnect to come through. ISP diff, you know the deal.
Yeah, unfortunately, your team generally does play better when your team is connected to the game. So we'll just be a quick pause, I believe.
I mean, you say that, but I don't know. Solo queue, I sometimes feel the opposite way.
Okay, this isn't solo queue, to be fair. This is a little bit more coordinated.
That's valid. I can't disagree with you on that point.
Yeah, so we will just be waiting just a little bit longer. In the meantime here, let's just take a look at the state of the game. We have top lane going even. Both top laners doing fine in that lane. Junglers, obviously we do have that advantage for It's Nobody, and I'm kind of curious what you want to see from both these junglers to try and get things going for both sides.
I mean, right now we're seeing exactly what I want out of Vi. She's hit that level 6 point. She's looking to play with that ultimate. And unfortunately, just showing up a tad too late, the support disconnection, uh, just a handful of unfortunate timings coming out from the side of PCM means that she's not really going to be able to utilize the 6 point right here, right now. I do want to see that Assault and Battery used early, but she might be able to anyway.
Yeah, the jump is not available. The bubble does miss there, and there's the flash away, and there is just barely gonna go down. Camp Laszlo picks it up with the red buff. And that will be the first kill now for Purple Caster minions. And at a great time, too, because now they can pressure this tower and get a couple of plays for themselves.
I'm really glad you got the same mini lag spike there as me. Was a little scared of that one. But
welcome to casting a replay.
Oh,
here,
Hecarim, though.
Here comes the teleport, too, from Garbanzo Boy. Gonna hit the knock-up, interrupt the dash there, and there's the Onslaught of Shadows. Jhin has to run away, but will not survive for long. The reload is long enough for Hecarim to pick up the kill. Soul Rush comes down, gets the Vi. Garbanzo Boy flashing forward.
No!
Does not have the feast. Just came off of cooldown, and now Haramer will survive. The feast just off cooldown as the bind hit, and Haramer will live, but limp back to base as the rest of the team is gonna have to go back to Fountain.
yeah, I really like the play coming out from PCM there, even with Vi showing up potentially a little late. Does commit the Assault and Battery in, does get a really, really big kill down onto the Tristana. It feels like they overextended a little bit, and a great punish coming out from Mumps Chumps, just ensuring that they come out on top again. 2-0-1 now for It's Nobody on the Hecarim, and oh, Jhin is crying.
Yeah, that especially hurts the Jhin. You miss out on a lot of farm. You don't get the tower plates you were looking for. And on top of that, you know, your advantage that you got was the Mundo being able to push this top lane here. Got a lot of plates down, already down to 2 plates. So Mundo does have a large influx of gold, all things considered, compared to this Cho'Gath, but it is really up to what can Mundo do with that.
Bubble!
Is gonna hit here, and there's the jump forward. Paraman just gonna pop this Lux. And the jump forward again. Paraman feeling pretty good in this lane. Great bubble by Justin IDN to confirm another kill in this bot lane.
Nami is one of those champs for me where it feels very difficult to express some skill on her, but that bubble, oh my lord, that was gorgeous. Mid lane, I don't see too much coming. Actually, Fish coming in.
Yeah, Equalizer does come down. Camp Laszlo gonna be burning down, but not burning quick enough. Here comes It's Nobody. Wants to try and get onto this Vi, but the shield is a lot here. It's Nobody is going forward, has the Ghost. Will get the kill and try and run away. Evertan wants to get revenge here. There is the wave. Evertan is going to actually not get hit by the fear, but the rest of the bot lane has showed up. The
oh my lord.
Is inwards and will take Fizz down as It's Nobody picks up the 4th kill of the game for himself.
Oh, Everton, I'm tilted for you. That's rough. That's really rough.
Top lane, though, we got a little bit of a fight coming. Crazy Korean Kid wants to fight this Cho'Gath, has the feast ready, so has to keep an eye on that health bar. There's the feast, and there is the auto. Garbanzo Boy gonna get a kill for himself now. Doesn't get the kill with the feast, but you take a win where you can take a win.
Yeah, you lose out on a little bit of health increase and size increase, sure, but the fact that you're able to pick up the solo kill on the top side against Mundo, very, very big for Garbanzo Boy, and Vorpal Spikes does like a little too much damage. Just looking at that trade. And yeah, mid lane's very fun for Everton. He just can't do damage to Rumble anymore.
Yeah, oh, the interrupt here on Camp Laszlo's dash. Will not be able to get out of the pit. Will have to blow the flash if he wants to survive. Crazy Korean Kid is teleporting in. Does not have the sadism, and now he is alone. He does not have the rest of the team, and that's just going to be a free kill now. Early TP, not what you want to see from your Mundo.
I mean, I guess it gets Vi out alive, right? But still not ideal for the side of PCM. And this should just be a free second Drake for the side of Mumps Chumps. As they're sitting pretty. A nice little 3k gold lead for themselves here. 12.5, 13 minutes in, so yeah, this feels good. Wave coming in though onto the bot lane.
Yeah, gonna hit Alliance here. The slow gonna come from the autos. Alliance gonna look for the bubble. There is the fear fleeing away. Alliance will just die under the tower. This Hecarim is way too big to deal with, way too tanky already. Soul Rush looking to get away. The flash forward off of the dash. Another equalizer hits, and it is just Haramer popping in with the final spark to pick up that kill. Little bit of a steal there from Haramer.
Yeah, we'll see. If this is an AP Lux, I'm more than okay with that steal coming through. Lost chapter, okay, it is. Cool. I saw the single amp tome, so I still wasn't entirely sure, but this definitely feels appropriate given the current game state. So I do really like this pickup from Haramer, and this will signal something along the lines of the Ludens, or I think we've even seen Everfrost coming out on a lot of mages recently since the buffs, so that is another alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the Night Harvester coming in on the Rumble now, so getting a little bit more burst damage onto this champ will do a lot of work in team fights with that equalizer. Kraken Slayer built on the Tristana. And now things are going to slow down just a little bit as we prep for our next objectives here. Next dragon is going to be 3.5 minutes in. Tower plates have just fallen, so first tower is going to be on the board for both teams.
Yeah, I anticipate with the damage done to the bot T1, this could be a potential look for the Vi, especially with Nami topside. I don't think that the support being up here is known quite yet, but once that Herald is taken, I would anticipate a decent push down towards the bot side. It is hard against Triss. She does have a decent amount of wave clear for an AD carry. So it could be rough. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's been a relatively slow objective game so far.
Yeah, just the 2 dragons taken so far at 15 minutes.
Oh,
but
Mundo's
now
dead.
we're looking at a little bit of a rough spot for Crazy Korean Kid. Pops the sadism early just to try and get out. Meanwhile, on the bot side here, Paraman trying to just stay alive under this tower will jump away, but he's jumping into the waiting arms of the Vi, and the shutdown goes on to Haramer. We'll pick that up with another final spark. We got Chum the Waters on to Soul Rush here. Evertan trying to go on to this Rumble, but has the Nami back up, and Camp Laszlo gonna try and show up. Evertan using the jump to get away, but will just fall regardless from the burn. And there is the kill now. Camp Laszlo picking up the Rumble. On the meantime, just an IDN trying to stay away. There is the interference there from the Hecarim. Just nobody, or it's nobody, picking up now a 6th kill, and Hecarim is a scary, scary horse now.
Yeah, and while that is good for Mumps Chumps, this will be the T1 falling in their favor. They did lose first tower bot side, and it just feels like Camp Laszlo is a little bit of everywhere. We saw the Vi killing Trist in the bottom half. Granted, Harmer did get that kill with the final spark, but then just shows up to the fight that was happening mid. It felt like almost instantly, so just playing really well around where to fight at. Just some of these fights not necessarily going the way of PCM.
Yeah, now we have Mythics finally coming through on some of these. The early zone just picked up on the Fizz instead of a Mythic here. Just trying to stay alive in these fights, trying to buy as much time as possible, because Mundo is not going to be able to pre enough space for this Hecarim, or sorry, to keep this Hecarim off of the Jhin right now.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pickup. It feels like not necessarily the most ideal, but it might feel necessary if you are this Fizz against 6-0 tank Hecarim, right? Trist, who's doing decently well for herself as well, and even just using the Hourglass to get out of some Equalizer damage or some Flame Spitter damage, it feels okay for an item here.
30 seconds on this next dragon. Teams looking to be setting it up. Mumps Chumps have the right of way right now, have the early control of the river, and you almost have to think that with the way purple caster minions are playing, they are just looking to give this away.
Yeah, especially with the vision control in the area for the side of Mumps Chumps. I don't see a world in which PCM can realistically contest this. Mundo's top side, I doubt that he's going to be looking for a teleport bot after what happened last time. So, and especially with Cho'Gath there for secure, it doesn't seem like a good window for PCM to go for.
Yeah, we'll just be the feast stack for Garbanzo boy now. And we are looking at another push in this mid lane. Right now, it's nobody is kind of just controlling this game. They need to be able to shut down this Hecarim, get that 600 gold bounty onto somebody, anybody at this point. or it is really going to be a struggle in these team fights because somebody is just going to keep getting picked off.
Yeah, I just don't know how you kill full tank Hecarim when you have Jhin Fizz as your damage champs, right? Uh, it's a lot of burst and a lot of squishy damage, but not a ton against tanks.
Yeah, meanwhile, in this bot side here, Fizz going in on this Cho'Gath, but I'm not sure if that's a fight you want. Garbanzo Boy is very, very tanky. Does not have the Feast yet. Will flash away from the charge from Vi. Now, Evertan trying to dodge the Rupture. Will go back in now, and Garbanzo Boy has basically burned down. There is the Zonias, but meanwhile, mid lane, Haramer is trying to stay alive from this Hecarim. It's nobody may have gone a little bit too deep. The game force forward. It's nobody using the jump over into the base, and now there is the kill set up. Alliance able to pick that one up. Haramer now trying to get this Hecarim down. It's nobody is gonna actually just be able to run away there. Not enough damage to burn the Hecarim down, but Paraman gets baited by the horse.
That is exactly what I mean. Sure, you kill Trist, you get another kill down onto Jhin. Really like the trigger discipline from Haramer to make sure that kill goes over to their AD carry, but Hecarim was dead to rights there. He tanked like 6 tower shots, got hit by a Lux Bind under tower, tanked a Jhin like full Gale Force. That's ridiculous. Oh my lord. Tank Hecarim is still disgusting. They got nerfed, it's still too disgusting.
And right now, they really just need to play around this engage tool they have in the Hecarim. Next dragon available, 3 minutes. That will be soul point available here for Mumps Chumps. And I want you to just kind of take us down and say, like, what avenues are there for purple caster minions to try and get themselves back in this game?
I wouldn't even say that PCM's necessarily out of this game at this point. You're looking at just a 2k gold deficit. A lot of this is sitting on the Hecarim. If Fizz and Jhin are able to just dumpster Trist Rumble in these fights, these look very, very bad for the side of Mumps Chumps. So it really is more reliant on catching out a mispositioned carry from the side of Mumps Chumps for PCM to really take hold of this game.
Yeah, Camp Laszlo. We're going to clear out some vision here. Make sure that they can get control, get the picks down that they need, because they just cannot win these team fights here. But one wrong move from somebody who is not named It's Nobody or Garbanzo Boy, and they can be taken down pretty quickly. Speaking of, though, It's Nobody wants to try and look on this Vi. We'll just go for the ward instead.
Yeah, decent bind. I don't anticipate much coming of this. Yeah, he takes no damage. This is ridiculous. I hate tank Hecarim so much.
Ripping's coming through, and now it is really about trying to get these waves at a good state now, right? Like, all about purple caster means they need to be able to get onto this dragon. They need to be able to make sure that this soul point does not go over, stall it out as long as they can. And that's going to only happen if they're able to get these mid and bottom waves in. They need to be able to have control, have the ability to walk safely to that dragon pit.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that point. You do not want to be giving Infernal Soul over to any champ that builds Night Harvester. That is absolutely devastating to deal with. There's a ton of burst damage coming out the second they hit you with anything, right? So I do anticipate this should be a play towards the Drake. We see Fizz taking the reset to try and position over there. Might be a tad delayed, but we'll see. Interested to see what this Ludens does build into for Fizz. I haven't seen too many mana mythics on him, I believe. Mostly see something like Night Harvester, but it might just be low elo solo queue. You never know.
Yeah, well, curious if that is possibly the Everfrost there. Get a little bit of a slippery engage tool on your mid laner. And now Dragon is going to look to be the call. Garbanzo Boy has the feast ready. Keep your eyes on that Cho'Gath because he is the confirm on this Dragon. Everton looking to get around, and now the teams are prepping for this fight.
Decent find.
Yeah, there is a lot blown into the Cho'Gath, but he is the tanky one. He is not the one you want to hit. Soul Rush is getting picked off now. Garbanzo Boy getting a little bit low. Jin doing some damage, but nowhere near enough because he's going to go down. Fizz also falling now. Camp Laszlo stuck in the middle of two people, not able to actually do enough damage, but does dash in, surviving still. Crazy Korean Kid trying to chase down this Hecarim. Justin IDN is the only person to help Hecarim now, but that's the only person you need because nobody is too big. He's literally full health. You'd be so confused on which one is actually the Mundo because the one who is going where he pleases it's nobody.
Guess I lied again. Trist and Rumble fell pretty early on into that fight. Rumble especially did get the equalizer down. That was a lot of contribution down in that fight, but with Jin just getting popped by Hecarim, Lux trying to kite it out. That is 3 kills over for Harmer, which is gotta feel pretty good for this full damage Lux support, but that's just really unfortunate. Not able to quite find everything that they really need to in that fight. It does end up with Infernal Soul going over to tank Hecarim, to Night Harvester Rumble, and this is going to be a very, very hard team to try and get through now if you are PCM.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that these Infernal Dragons are going to work really well with Hecarim and all of the move speed that he has. Between the Deadmans and the Turbo Chem Tank, all of that move speed gets converted into attack damage, which then gets boosted by these Infernal Dragons. So it's like not even full tank because he's got so many bonuses coming through between the move speed and the bonuses on the Infernal Dragon. And the Infernal Soul, very, very easy to proc for somebody like Hecarim, who's just constantly doing those rampages through the fight. Alliance, a little bit of a rough spot there. We'll survive, but just barely here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Pearman didn't flash after that one.
50 health.
Yeah, would have been a pretty free kill, but this does just signal Baron. Garbanzo Boy does have the Feast, so this should be pretty much free, but this also might just force the hand of PCM to an unfavorable fight.
Absolutely there. The wave gonna just shove people away. Yeah, and I think that is why you don't burn the flash there. Get that trigger discipline down, make sure they stay alive, and make sure the Tristana does not die. It's nobody going in onto Camp Laszlo, who does not take a whole lot of damage, but just going to be the disengage, take the Baron, and leave.
He's 8-0 and building 0 damage. I try not to complain about champs, but this is ridiculous. This is like the cast we had the other night where we just were screaming Yone back and forth, right? Like, this feels really hard to come back from.
Oh my goodness there. It's nobody going in on Haramer. Will just be the easy pickup with the Onslaught of Shadows.
He's full tank! What? Oh, that's rough. Armor. Yeah, I don't know how you stay alive in that instance. It's not easy to do when Hecarim is this strong, this far ahead. And sieging down to tier 3.
Yeah, Hecarim may need a couple more nerfs. Might have to get a couple more nerfs in the bucket. And that will just be the inhibitor going down. I don't think PCM want to try and take this fight here. Just going to be the back off. And this really just has been the Hecarim show.
Yeah. If you substitute this team with a jungler not named Hecarim, I think this game is much more difficult for the side of Mumps Chumps. But outside of Hecarim, I think PCM has done extremely well this game. They've been able to really handle a lot of fights really well, even around something as strong as Hecarim is at this point. But oh my lord. Jin Fizz do not do damage to tanks. Just it feels bad. It's really hard for them to deal with Hecarim at this point.
Yeah, now we do have the Mythic on the Fizz completed. It is the Leandries, so looking to get a little bit more burn damage onto these two beefy tanks. And I feel like it's just not enough here. Like, even still, like, Cho'Gath has built no MR. I mean, has rarely run into an issue of running out of health.
He has the chem tanks like MR, right? Like the you get one, what, Negatron cloak's worth. Cool. But yeah, I think the burn damage most of the time on Fizz, I look at that and I think it's awful. This game, it's like the only way you're gonna do damage to their front line, which feels really bad if you're the Fizz player. But it does almost feel necessary, unfortunately, for him. Yeah, this is just pretty free sieges, and Mundo just splitting top, looking to get some gold back to the side of PCM, it feels like. Great
Yeah, good grab. Yeah, that is going to be a bunch of damage. Justin IDN goes down immediately. This could be the turnaround fight. Soul Rush getting hit by that fish. Will pop the equalizer and use the Zonia's Evertan trying to run away. Now a double kill onto the Lux. They flash forward here. There is the assault and battery from the Vi onto Garbanzo Boy. He is going to fall as well. This is the turnaround. Hecarim, the only one to survive. All the Elder Baron buffs taken down. They just need to keep their base alive.
Yeah, that's more of what I was talking about earlier into the game. They did actually get some really good picks. These Lux binds in the later game have just been incredible. Harmer really making sure that those light bindings are hitting 2 high priority targets and blowing them up. Nami dying early means there's not enough sustain for the front line, and that the back line is just going to get popped. No tidal wave to try and deny the engage, to deny the follow-up, and that is a very, very big fight win for the side of PCM. But with Elder spawning in 36, it could still be rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing too that was just really, really important was they got the pick so close to their own tower that Hecarim could not dive deep, could not go in without risking a lot for himself. So getting the pick and then immediately forcing the fight near their own tower where Hecarim could not run down this Jhin, super crucial for that fight. But now, like you said, Elder Dragon spawning in 5 seconds will be the call now, and they have to try and keep themselves safe here because this is going to be a hard fight for PCM if they cannot get into this river.
Yeah, with Cho'Gath as well having that feast, it seems very hard, and the Shark landing on the Cho'Gath is rough too.
Yeah, here comes the curtain call. It's nobody looking to go over the wall. Will just hit the Elder Dragon. They're taking a lot of damage from this Elder Dragon. Sadism is available. The only ultimates left for PCM are the Final Spark, the Assault and Battery, and Sadism.
Yeah, oh, great bind to deny Hecarim, but
Hecarim able to get the engage. It's just the tidal wave coming through. Harama able to stay alive. The equalizer comes through onto the Vi, who uses the assault and battery onto It's Nobody. It's Nobody is actually down. That is a big win now. The Sonias comes through onto Evertan, who's going to try and dash in, deal last little bit of damage. Jhin is free hitting on this backside now, and there is the engage. Garbanzo Boy able to go down. Quadra kill now for Alliance. Suddenly, there's a spark of life for PCM as they're going to get this Elder Dragon. Their base is in shambles, though.
Yeah, Nami trying to mess with them a little bit, but Alliance knows this is the Penta scenario. This is a great W to come through as well, and gets the Penta.
Official. No, it is official. Pentakill there for Alliance. I spoke too soon.
Woo!
All right. Are we running it back?
This is
gold now.
They have Elder on 4. I believe Lux was up in time to get that. Fizz does not have it, which is a little unfortunate, but that is a lot of gold into Jin's pocket. Yeah, 4 items down.
Item and a half just immediately picked up there. So this Jhin is now off the ground. This Jhin actually is going to do some damage to this Hecarim and Cho'Gath as long as they're able to get bursted down a little bit. The extra 4th shot damage will be very crucial. Baron now coming up.
I like this. So it does seem like PCM knows they can't secure it. Cho'Gath is in the area, would have a way to hit. Will just secure the mid T1. This is a little more gold into their pockets, and now they actually have a gold lead, which, don't hold me to this, is the first time in at least a while this game.
Absolutely. This is the one time Brennan is right. They have not had a gold lead in a long time.
Yep.
And now they are going to start up the Baron. It is actually seen this
Oh,
this
they don't need a ward?
is not seen this ward in the back of the pit there. They're going to start it. Here comes the equalizer. Harama taking a lot of damage there and is just going to burn down. Here comes the onslaught of shadows, but the Baron is picked up. It's nobody is alone in the fight there. Does not have the team. Nobody else can get over the wall. So it is just going to be the 1-for-1 trade and the Baron picked up by Camp Laszlo. Purple caster minions now have the tempo and the gas pedal down.
Oh my. I don't even know what to say to this. This is incredible.
Let me get here, Brendan. Talk me through it.
I didn't think that It's Nobody would be able to, that Camp Laszlo would be able to secure that Drake. I figured It's Nobody would have had a smite advantage. We can check the XP, of course, when It's Nobody respawns, because, you know, why would we be able to see someone's XP when they're dead? But Garbanzo Boy, I don't believe had the flash up quite yet. I'd have to go back and check on that one. The Feast wasn't able to come through. The Hecarim wasn't able to land the Smite. Baron, rather, goes over to the side of PCM. And all of a sudden the Hecarim's left alone in the pit. That's a really unfortunate look for the side of Mumps Chumps. More gold into their pockets as well. There was another 200 gold shutdown on Hecarim. It does go into Mundo's pocket this time, so we'll be a little bit beefier on the front line. And there's not a ton of heal cut right now. It is just the Thorn Mail for Garbanzo Boy, and that's not going to be enough against Mundo going later in this game.
Absolutely. Here we are looking at Camp Laszlo wanting to steal away this blue buff. Might be getting a little bit too big for his britches. Gets hit by the rupture, and now Evertan also has to try and stay alive. Camp Laszlo trying to get over towards that blast cone, and now the damage comes through onto the Tristana, immediately blown up. Great equalizer comes through. Camp Laszlo's going back in. The Nami goes down alongside Fizz. It's nobody is in the middle of the fight. He is tanking as much as he can. Camp Laszlo will fall, but Alliance is here, and Alliance wants blood. Alliance is going to get one kill onto the Cho'Gath. Crazy Korean kid chasing down this Rumble will just run him down. They are doing it. They are winning. It's nobody. Once again, the only person alive, saying that nobody else on his team alive. And he's just going to try and run interference, try and stop these minions from actually getting into the base here. They have 2 waves to work with. They might be able to get this inhibitor. I don't think they're going to get much more, though.
They might actually look to end with this. It does look like Hecarim is actually just doing the inhib trade, so they are going to respect it, try to deny that. They might have been able to end with just the Tristan Nami available, up and alive, rather. But Hecarim does force them away, does just threaten the inhibitor, does not end up getting it, because full tank Hecarim doesn't do damage to objectives, unfortunately.
Tank Hecarim, obviously just really weak right now, does need a couple of buffs.
Yes. I say one thing and get flamed for the rest of the game. It's cool. Love it.
I'll find more things to flame you for.
That's fine.
Yeah, I want to take a look right now. Item-wise, we've got the stopwatch now for Paraman. We'll be able to survive that burst, so we're not... Hopefully, if that is executed effectively, is going to be a little bit of a different fight going forward here. Not getting bursted out, and there might be a little bit of an over-engage from PCM right now, but we do have Lich Bane completed on the Fizz. This Jhin, full build, ready to go. Scuttle Crab does go over, and now
what a shark.
So yeah, onto IDN, will take a bunch of damage. The Assault and Battery onto the Nami as well. Gonna be the kill. In the meantime, that is Vi going down. Crazy Korean Kid also taking a lot of damage. Harama hits a good bind to keep his top laner alive. Soul Rush will not go in any further, and now It's Nobody wants to try and go further, but will just back off with the rest of the team.
Yeah, but even with that trade, I feel like getting rid of the Nami from the front line of Mumps Chumps is very beneficial if you are PCM. It denies a lot of the sustain, a lot of the peel, so this is still a fight you might be willing to take. And with the minions pushing in, they're actually in a really good spot for this Elder spawning. Unfortunately, without the jungler, and against the Cho, it's still rough to secure, but in terms of the fight, could be a good fight to look for.
Yeah, and just look at the item difference in these 80 carries right now. It is 3 items to 5 on the Jhin versus Tristana. Major difference. Paraman really going to be having a rough time. There is a GA available on this Jhin, So keep your eyes on him. He is the one to watch for PCM. The Elder Dragon has been started. And it looks like Chum the Water is going to hit onto the Cho'Gath, who is half health. It's nobody going on to this Mundo, but then going right back over. Alliance trying to get as much damage down as possible. Equalizer does not hit too much. Everton immediately goes down from the Cho'Gath there. Alliance using the Gale Force to get away from this Hecarim now, and Crazy Korean Kid is using the sadism to stay alive. Assault and battery on the Paraman. There is that watch. The final spark will not kill, and now everybody is low onto the side of Mumps Chumps. There is the double kill, getting onto that Nami, and here is Crazy Korean Kid trying to go in. He's got teams behind him. He's got this Jin. Jin still has that GA, still doing damage. Will pop another one, quadra kill onto the Hecarim. It's nobody, and now Alliance will have to back away. Does not have the damage for this. Oh my goodness. Okay, Alliance, no. He's just looking for it. He wanted it, but he's not gonna get it. So he is just gonna push this. Now it is Mumps Chumps who have to get back to their base and protect it while this objective goes down. Crazy Korean Kid has healed up and will be running to the dragon.
If you asked me 15 minutes ago, would this game go to 40 minutes? I would have told you you were crazy. This is incredible from the side of PCM, turning this game around, but the teleport coming in, this could just be... yeah, they're actually peeling away. Cho'Gath would have secured it.
Cho'Gath is a problem. Garbanzo Boy, level 16, does take a bit of damage from this Jin, actually, here. And here is the engage. The sadism popped. There is Chum the Waters onto Garbanzo Boy. He does not have a team. The tidal wave is going to come through, and it will not be enough. Crazy Korean Kid will survive. Here's the assault and battery onto the Nami. Just going to go down just in IDN in the fountain. And now we are looking at an Elder Dragon being picked up now for Purple Caster minions. What a comeback so far. It's just a question of can they complete it. It's nobody wants to come in here. Soul Rush hitting the equalizer coming through. It's nobody goes for the Onslaught of Shadows, but does not pick it up. Immediately gets back out with the phase rush. And now it is just going to be the Baron call with the base having to be defended. I don't know if Mumps Chumps can actually defend this Baron.
Yeah, especially with Hecarim not having that ultimate, this should just be a free Baron take. I don't see a world in which they can really contest this. Vi gonna deny the Blast Cone as well. Yep, this makes sense, and oh my lord, PCM is actually gonna win this game. Whew.
What do we say every time Brennan says something?
Yeah, it's a lie. Yeah,
it's really a lie, but right now I would have to agree with you. PCM looking very strong, looking to be in the driver's seat. They have kind of hit that point where the scaling is starting to work out a little bit in their favor. This Jin doing a lot more than this Tristana at the moment.
Yeah, and I think part of this does come down to the itemization. Opting into that Lord Dominic's, it's doing a lot of work against Cho'Gath, against Hecarim, and your Jin, you already do a ton of damage to squishy champs, so the other three not as relevant. It's still, or that item is not as relevant for, I should say. Still provides a little bit of AP, so feels pretty nice. But yeah, Jin definitely the priority character to shut down in these fights. And last fight we saw him not even burn the flash and still come out with 4 kills. That was just disgusting to witness.
Yeah, it is appropriate for, if Jin does get a penta, for him to also get a quadra, to just make sure that he is balancing out, getting as many 4s as possible. Level 18's coming through on almost everybody except the supports here. Soul Rush 2 levels down on this mid lane here, but it does have the level 16 equalizer. This is just the siege now. This Jin is just so hard to deal with. It is all on Hecarim to actually get back there, but with the Gale Force, with the Guardian Angel, it is going to be so difficult for them to actually get anything done in these fights on him.
You said something about Jin with a lot of 4s, and all I can think about is that one of my friends loves Jin, really wants to see Golfer Jin, just hear him scream 4. I didn't really have a great segue into that, I just wanted to mention it. But, curtain call now coming out for Jin, probably just going to look to siege push off the side of Mumps Chumps. Try and get this tower to take some damage, fall down. Feels okay. Oh, Lux is dead.
Now, it's going to be big. There is the immediate pick off on the Lux, and now that is going to be a 4v5. The tidal wave coming through just to push everybody away. The root will keep Camp Laszlo alive, but that will stall out a little bit of this engage for Purple Caster minions.
Alright. That was a really, really clean rupture coming out from Garbanzo Boy, and Harmer, not really respecting it, didn't burn the flash on it, thought they would just be able to live, but does end up getting popped. Does negate the push coming out from PCM, and this does kind of give pressure back over to the side of Mumps Chumps, and we've got a bit of time before the next neutral, but still could be the deciding fight of the game.
Yeah, that basically just takes all the wind out of the sails for Purple Caster minions as they have to wait for that Lux to come up. Still 3 seconds on that. Like you said, luckily there was no neutral objective to fight over, but now Trist has the Guardian Angel, so there is double Guardian Angel in this game on both AD carries.
Yeah, I'd argue it's a little more effective on Jhin, given the current state of the game. It is still, like, decent on Tristana, right? There's no... it's not necessarily a bad item for her, but considering the amount of damage Jhin has been pumping out and how pivotal he has been to this team's success, it definitely feels like Trist just said, well, Jin's doing well with it, so I kind of want one too. It will help negate a lot of burst coming out from Fizz, so he blows his entire combo on Trist, and all of a sudden, oh, she didn't die, so it'll feel pretty okay. We'll have to see how well it's utilized, because GA is one of those items. I think you'll have experienced this as a support main. Your AD buys it, and then you just watch him die twice in a fight.
Yeah, it kind of does depend. If you are far enough behind, it will not bring a whole lot to the fight, but when you're looking at burst comps, GA can be an invaluable item when they blow the entire combo into you and then you still survive. Right now, looking at the state of the map, we've got both the mid and bot inhibitors down. We have another Elder Dragon, the third one of the game, coming up in about 45 seconds. There is the turnaround here. Crazy Korean Kid coming in to run interference, and that is going to be Garbanzo Boy falling down. Tidal Wave is going to peel off this Mundo. Sadism still burning through, and this Mundo is healing like mad. It's nobody going in, gets the fear, but Alliance is just running away. He's still safe. He's still alive, and it's just going to be the 2 kills, actually. Camp Laszlo and Haram are going down in that fight. So 3 on 3 for this Elder Dragon.
What a game we have here. Right when I say, or see Cho'Gath getting popped at the start of the fight, which popping a Cho'Gath is no small feat, right? It seems like it's just going to all go over to PCM. Then Harmer gets picked off, Laszlo gets picked off, and it stalls out the fight. It stalls out the engage. And now we're looking at 46.5 minutes in, the third Elder Drake of the game. Hecarim's alive to secure this. Might be tricky against the 4th shot of the Jhin, though.
Absolutely. At this point in the game, the
fish on Nami.
Yeah, on to Nami. Just an IDN immediately going down, and there's the Zonias there to buy time. Evertan just gonna stall this out even longer. Teleport coming in from the Cho'Gath. He might be in a little bit too deep. Crazy Korean Kid now trying to back off. They're backing off in different directions. So they're gonna have to try and reset here. Haramer and Camp Laszlo coming in. Just an IDN is gonna be down for another 40 seconds. This will be a 4v5 if the fight starts. And there are minions going in to Mumps Chumps base. This is a really rough spot for Mumps Chumps now.
Yeah, inhibs are respawning for them, but Assault and Battery.
Oh, Battery hits. Soul Rush flashes the final spark there, and now Crazy Korean Kid blocking out. Great Equalizer will force the disengage now, but the healing coming through from that fruit will help out. It's nobody looking to engage. Camp Laszlo is low, crucially, but here is the engage. Garbanzo Boy getting hit by the root and will just back off. The aggressive Gale Force. Now, here comes It's Nobody onto the Jhin now. Is into 5 people. Will have to get out, and there is no way out. There is a 3 kill for nothing, and that should be the game. There are 60-second death timers. It is going to be the push forward here. Inhibitors are back up, but they have a minion wave to help them.
I cannot believe they have just done this. PCM backs against the walls, lose their Nexus Tower, do get the last 2 kills of the game. Trist, that GA we were talking about, just dying twice in a fight, will result in the win for PCM.
What a game it was. Major congratulations to Purple Caster Minions there for not giving up, not just letting themselves get run over. We thought this was just going to be a straight, simple end of the game push eventually from Mumps Chumps, but they just kind of rested on their laurels, and one fight after another just slowly went forward into the win eventually for Purple Caster Minions.
Yeah, Alliance. Penta, Quadra in the same game. That's ridiculous. That is incredible Jhin performance coming out. Yeah, that was 48 and a half minutes of incredibly fast-paced League. Oh my, I'm out of breath a little bit just watching it.
Yeah, that was just incredible job there. I can't say it enough. The wherewithal for PCM to be able to stay in that game and not give in, because I think if that was a solo queue game, that's one of those games where everyone's spamming FF. You're looking to try and just like end the game, get on to the next one, say like, that's my LP, I'm done. It's gone. Screw it. Like, not worth trying to fight back. Everybody's infighting. But PCM stayed in that. They said like, all right, this is tank Hecarim. He's gonna fall off eventually. Our Jhin is okay. This Fizz is going to get crucial picks in the late game. Let's just stick it out. Let's just stay in it and get what we can. And eventually they got the fight they needed and just scraped themselves back in.
Oh my. Yeah, that was... Whew. Like... I don't even know what to say. That was just incredible. I'm trying to like piece things together, but it's nobody had the very strong early game, and it felt like it was gonna just be lights out for the side of PCM in that set. But Alliance just wasn't dying, barely getting out of fights with 100 HP, barely being able to dodge out of Hecarim's engages, make sure that that Gale Force is utilized to its full effectiveness. It was just gorgeous to watch. Harmer doing extremely well to keep the side of PCM in the game early on as well. It all kind of made sense. It all worked out really well going later into the game. So just an incredible comeback story if you are on the side of PCM.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are going to take a quick break, guys. We are going to attempt to get an interview. We are not positive if we're going to have one or not, but we will attempt to get an interview with someone on Purple Caster Minions. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And welcome back, everybody. We are now here with Camp Laszlo from Purplecaster Minions. How are you guys doing after the banger of a game that was?
Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, it's always exciting to come out with a win. And it was overall just a really fun game. So I'm happy with the end result.
Yeah, so one of the things I do want to kind of get into was just like you guys, you're supporting Save the Children as your charity. Was there something specific that made you guys want to choose that charity out of all of them?
Um, to be honest, we just kind of picked one last second. Like we were one of the last teams to sign up for CEA. And I think we actually like on a late Friday night, they're like, "Hey guys, like we're making a team. Are you guys all interested?" And then our team captain just kind of like I think random number generated everything. So, so no real thought process behind that. I wish we could have done more, but I mean, our we're pretty serious with donations and committing to some sort of cause here to benefit the general. So.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it works. So, one thing you did mention too was you guys have been playing together since like college days. How long have you guys all been like playing on a team together in like some sort of competitive fashion?
Yeah, so we originated from all going to the same college, University of Washington here in Seattle. So we've all been like known each other since 2014. So off and on, we've been playing with one another, I guess, for what is that, 7, 8 years. So um, yeah, no, we've just been a tight knit group, and we've kept in touch through college, and now after college, as we've all landed jobs at Amazon, and it's great to hear that there's a competitive scene for us after college as well. So
Yeah. So as far as like the game, I'll toss it to Brennan for a little bit here.
Yeah. So I think one thing to keep in mind looking at that game state was you guys were not necessarily in the lead early on. It definitely was looking a little rough with how far ahead Heckern was getting and how unkillable he was looking in fights. So, uh, where was your team's head at? Were you guys thinking, all right, it's doomed, or were you more of the we're trying to figure out some way back into this? How do we come back in? Just what was your thought process at that point?
yeah, so our thought process is the bounty system in League of Legends makes every single game winnable. So at any point, even if you're down, what was it, 5 or 6,000 gold at the mid game state, if they overstep or if they get caught somewhere or if they tower dive and mess up, right, there's always a chance for us to win. So I know that we were bleeding out like all the dragons. We were pretty much just giving them up. And then we lost Baron, I believe, as well. And then Haram ended up getting like a double binding, and he ulted in one shot the enemy support, and then it looked super winnable after that. So the entire time we are just saying like, hey, like we can turtle, we can wave clear, we can stall the game out, and there's always a chance for us to come back. So overall, like everyone was still somewhat positive. I mean, obviously sometimes we're upset with getting picked or dying or things of that sort, but overall, like morale was pretty good throughout the entire game.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. The last thing you want to hear is, yeah, our entire team was fighting each other throughout the whole game, right? Um, and you did mention Harmer doing exceptionally well with some of those double binds. Definitely in the mid to late game for sure. Definitely did seem like that was a large part of what kept your team in this game. So, regardless of anything else, I'm gonna quickly shout out the Lux binds. Those are really clean. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
in terms of a few like draft things as well. Everton going for the blind fizz. Is this something that he's like super comfortable with and was just like I can play it into anything, or what was what was the thought process behind that? I should say.
Yeah, so we were first pick, so at the very end we're like, it's it's very likely that you're still gonna have to blind pick no matter what.
Mhm.
So we're waiting him for our very last pick to pick our mid lane, as Everton's our best player here. And the enemy team banned his comfort picks, Twisted Fate and Galio, so those were out the window. And then just based off of, and then they also banned Ari as well. So like all of his safe comfort picks were uh, banned out. So then it pretty much just came down to his champion pool and what he felt comfortable playing. We were deciding between playing Kassadin or Fizz, but we decided just for like solo pick potential and like zoning ults as well. We like the Fizz pick more. Um, so overall, like I think Everton played very well still
Yeah.
on Fizz. I know it's hard to play into Rumble as he's always shoved in, but overall, like we're still very very happy for Everton getting a lot of solid picks with his ults, especially late game. I think he like one shot a few people and then made the team fights very easy. So
Yeah, that one shark on Tsunami I saw right at the end. That was pretty much a nail in the coffin as the last fight. So definitely
yeah,
agree with you.
it's always nice when someone lands like a skill shot that doesn't have any backup, right? Like Nami's moving full movement speed and it's a bit of luck. Like I would say it's still 50-50 whether or not he's gonna land his ult, but we take those chances, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So as far as looking beyond this game, you guys are, I believe, four and
4-1
We're
was it
4
now.
and 1 now.
Yeah.
4-1 now, yeah. So you guys are looking really solid going into the second half of the season. What kind of goals do you guys have for yourself going into this last, push in the second half of the season?
I mean goals. I mean, we lost our very first game, and then we were morale. To be honest, was pretty low after losing our first game. And then so we said like, well, hey, let's turn this around. Let's all put in a little bit more practice and figure out to see if winning's always more fun. So we started practicing. I mean, I think we've only played like 2 or 3 flex games together as a team in the last year, but at least we're putting in an effort to start practicing. And our goals here is to win the whole thing. So I think we have a good momentum. Morale is high. People are playing well. So we're just onwards and upwards from here.
Yeah, all right. And do you have any final shout outs you want to give before we sign off?
Yeah, no, very proud of Alliance for getting, I think, a penta and a quad in the same game. He played very well. He was complaining at one point that like, man, I just die right away in every fight. And so our strat changed where I would start ulting Hecarim right away every single fight and hopefully start peeling him, and it paid off. So very proud of Alliance for like if he gets more support from both the jungler and the support, that he's able to live and carry games. So very proud of him, and he played very very well. So huge shout out to Alliance, and to the rest of CEA here for setting up all of this tournament, and allowing us to still have a competitive scene as I guess we enter the corporate world here.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much for the interview. And that is going to be it for us for the corporate portion of the CEA LoL stream. However, we will have the collegiate. I'm not exactly sure, Brennan, when is that going to be?
About a half hour from now.
About a half hour. And we're running that one live?
Yep.
All right, cool. So in about half an hour from now, we will have the collegiate CEA LOL stream going for you guys. So if you want to stick around and watch that, by all means, we will be here for you. So, but that is it for us now. I have been Thousand Eyes alongside Brennan. Thank you all for watching and have a good day.